Hey guys, it's Just Stone here, back again with another video, and today I'm going to talk about Arsenal. So bear with me, I've just bought some new lighting equipment, first time I've ever bought something like that, so hopefully this looks better. I won't be able to tell till I get to editing it, so if it does look a bit cack, I'll have to sort of experiment with it, but this is the first video I'm doing it with. But anyway, what I wanted to talk about today, I wanted to talk a bit about Arsenal. Apparently it was recently reported that now that the January transfer window has shut, in the summertime, Arsenal are only going to be allocated up to £45 million for transfers. And this is just becoming, I don't even want to say that it's becoming a joke or that it is a joke, because jokes are supposed to be funny, right? This is just sad, really. I suppose there's a lot of uproar with Arsenal fans, and I can rightfully understand them. So apparently Stan Kroenke, who owns Arsenal, he's one of the richest guys in the sporting industry, or however you want to put it. And apparently it's also been confirmed, or reported at least, that he hasn't put a single penny or cent, however you want to put it, into Arsenal Football Club, even though now he owns it 100%. He's been involved for around about 10 years or so, and he hasn't put a penny into it in that time. So what's going to sort of say that all of a sudden he's going to inject some cash? And it looks like if these reports of 45 million transfer budget in the summer is correct, it looks like that's not going to happen. So what I wanted to say is that if we want to actually compete with the top, we get all these sort of reports, I suppose, like, you know, saying, oh, we can challenge for the top four or whatever. Maybe the top four sort of top four slots are still open this season, and I'd like to think we can at least make the top four. But if that's going to be our ambition going forward, you know, after this season, say we can get in the top four, we get into the Champions League, people and teams and businesses, whatever, can only look to improve themselves. And if we're going to be looking just to finish top four, qualify for the Champions League every season for that money injection, I don't think that's good enough. I'm sure my thoughts are like, you know, the thoughts of many Arsenal fans. It's like Arsenal are considered to be one of like the top football clubs in English football, at least. And the fact that they're willing to, it seems like they're willing to settle for top four Champions League all the time, it's just not good enough. With £45 million, I think Arsenal honestly need to clear out a lot of players. Not because of the fact that apparently Arsenal need to clear a lot of players off their wage bill, because they're on ridiculous wages, some of these players, and they don't even play, or they're just not good enough to take us to the next level. That sort of goes on to my point. So Arsenal need to have a bit of a clear out, quite a big clear out, I think, and like get rid of some of the sort of, sounds horrible, but mediocre players. And in the world of football, I suppose you have to be a bit harsh. And considering Arsenal and the fans have been put through this for God knows how long now, since we moved to the Emirates Stadium, we were promised, oh, once we clear the debts, you know, the good times are going to roll. Arsenal's going to be competing with the Emirates Stadium, competing with some of the biggest clubs in Europe, but it just hasn't come about yet. And we've been at the Emirates Stadium for over 10 years now. I think this is going to be the 13th year, if I'm correct. And it's just not happening. And what boggles my mind is, I do wonder, has Unai Emery been lied to when he took the job? Surely, like, a manager of his credential, you can't, like, he's won the Europa League 3 times in a row with Sevilla. You know, he has won trophies. It's not like he's just, you know, the sort of local manager you find in the pub somewhere. He's got some credentials. And surely, I just can't sort of fathom why someone, if they outlined, oh, this is what we're going to give you and stuff like that, why he would take the job. It's quite refreshing as well that compared to Arsene Wenger sort of always said, like, oh, if a player's available, we'll get them. Does this whole thing right now saying that Arsenal don't have any money to spend, does it date back to those days as well? And that's, you know, was Arsene Wenger covering for the upper management? But Unai Emery sort of doesn't go that route. He has literally told us during the January transfer window that if possible we would make up to 2 signings, and we did, but in the sense that it was a loan deal for Denis Suarez. And he even admitted Arsenal can only make loan signings. And that, it's just not a good... There are some arguments to say a loan signing would be good in the January transfer window because, getting a player in a window where they're going to be tied for continental competition, stuff like that, kind of makes sense, but it's not the news Arsenal fans wanted to hear. To make the step up, we want to be signing big name players that are actual quality and who can, take games by the scruff of the neck and just power drive us forward. First of all, I think if we can get into the top four, that's a good season for Unai Emery. But next season, if we manage the top four this season, for next season, we need to do better. And I don't just mean like finishing third or something. If we could at least challenge for the title, that would be progress at least. But just with £45 million, these days, it's not going to sign anyone. I can remember when Chelsea signed, Andrei Shevchenko for around about £32 million. That was like a massive deal. And like some people were saying that was too much money for a player. But as times have gone on, prices for players, inflation, everything, wages, it's just getting ridiculous now. And in this sort of climate, £45 million is barely going to buy you a good player, if you're lucky. Yeah, you can say we bought Mesut Ozil at the time for £42 million. That was a big deal for Arsenal, of course, at the time. But you can also say as well, it was because he was like sort of phased out of Real Madrid. Arsenal don't seem to go after players that we actually need, like big name players, like, other teams are sort of raiding Arsenal for their big players all the time and they eventually let them go. But Arsenal don't seem to do that. They seem to identify, if they sign a good player, for example, even Alexis Sanchez, he was being phased out of Barcelona at the time. He was a great signing for Arsenal then, but it's not like we sought out to go and get him, like, this is the player we want, we're definitely going to get him. And with £45 million, you're not going to command anything. If there's a player that we really want, or any team really wants, and they're a good enough player, the club they're at have the right, I guess, to sort of say, like, well, no, we're going to take every penny we can from you for this player. He's one of our star players. And £45 million, I don't think is going to cut it. Even if we sell players, I'm wondering, like, for example, there's talk Mesut Ozil, are we going to try and get him out of the club if he does agree to leave or whatever? But like, will the money that we get from transfers, from players going out, is that actually going to go into our transfer budget? Who knows? And I think it all sort of boils down to the owner needs to like step in here and do something about it. Why have a football club or something if you're just not going to do anything with it? And whilst I've been saying that, I just thought he is doing something with it. He's taking money out of the club apparently. So to buy the final shares, he borrowed money from somewhere. He didn't even use his own money to buy the 100%, of Arsenal. And just having someone like that, it's just heartbreaking for Arsenal fans or any football fans with their club in a situation like this. And it's just sad, really. So I just wanted to say, to be honest, I love Arsenal, but the way they're going, I'm just falling out of love with it, in the sense that I'm trying my best not to let it bother me. And honestly, I feel like I'm a football fan that I just watch the game, let the football do the talking. But if it's just going to carry on like this, where do we go? I'm not going to like all of a sudden just, fuck Arsenal, I'm going to support another team. No, because that's not what a true football fan's all about. But it's just sad. The Arsenal Football Club right now, in my opinion, is a complete mess. From like the player wages, the players we have, and not having the resources to go out there and sign the quality players that Arsenal so desperately need to become a top force in the Premier League or English football again. And I gotta hand it to Unai Emery. He's got some players playing better than they have in past few seasons under previous management. And with the resources he's had, he hasn't done bad. He's, hovering around 6th place at the moment. Still quite some time to go in the season. We can still break into the top 4. But if he's not given the resources, how can he improve the team and the club going forward? And I feel sorry for him in that sense. If he was lied to, that's really taking the piss. And if things are going this way now, I kind of feel like Unai Emery, probably another season or two, unless, you know, they change their mind and get rid of him, like, why would he want to stay? And where do we go from there? If a sort of, like I said, a manager with his credentials at the moment is being pissed around, why would any other good enough manager on the same level at least want to come to Arsenal and manage them if they're not going to be given support by their bosses, so to speak? I don't really know where they go from here. In an ideal world, our owner would invest money into the club, say, we're going to sort this out, we're going to get players that we want, players that we need, excellent players. But with £45 million in today's climate, I can't see it happening. So anyway, guys, that's just some thoughts about Arsenal. Please like, share, subscribe and all that stuff. Maybe the next video I've got some ideas, but yeah, I'll try and do some whenever I can. And I keep saying that, and videos are few and far between. But anyway, with this light thing, hopefully it's worked out well. It looks good. That's one of the reasons why I haven't been making videos, because by the time I get home from work, it's dark and stuff, so it makes the video look horrible. But anyway, hopefully this resolves that. So yeah, please let me know your thoughts. There's a comment section. You can hit me up on Twitter. Just stoned it. Yeah, Arsenal, man. What the fuck's going on? Something needs to happen. Something has to give. Come on. Come on, man. I'm just rambling. So please like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.